Good morning. It is December 26th and I'm off on a morning run. This is my new version of Gab's Fence because it is after the 25th of December, so we're no longer counting down to Advent. So this is probably going to transition into a 12 days of Vlogmas situation. Mainly that just means the title is going to change. And yeah, this is probably the start of our 12 days of Vlogmas. And let's do a knitting check-in. So, sorry, if you're new here, I'm Gabs, one half of Slip Slip Sis. My sister and I have been vlogging pretty regularly throughout the months of October, November, and December. I mostly burned out on vlogging in the week leading up to Christmas, but I think I have gotten it together because I've taken the pressure off of me to get a vlog up every day. That I was fighting my internet upload speeds and couldn't find time, and oh my gosh, I thought there was a person staring at me on their front porch, but it wasn't a person, it was a statue for Santa. Oh, that was kind of creepy. Yeah, it's like a present Santa situation on my neighbor's porch. Whew. All right, well, yes, so that's what's happening. I still have like 8 advent calendars left that are either partially done or need to be done in some form. So where I am right now, because I know my vlogging has been sporadic, is I'm in the middle of working with the Explore Knits mini skeins that I received for Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted from a lovely knitter on Juliana's of Pearlback Knit Forwards Discord. So I've been working on those socks. I can't show them because they are a mystery design, which is why I also felt like it wasn't, I didn't have much to show or talk about during Vlogmas. In the last couple weeks, the design also wasn't going well for a while, but I figured it out. Like, it's a sock. That's not the mystery part. That's mostly what we design. But there was some trickiness in getting the cuff to work the way I wanted it to work. So I actually recast it on 7 times because it wasn't working out. And that was getting annoying because I had a vision and the vision was just not visioning. But that's fine. And I'm also working on my December sock swap with my sister. And that's kind of where I am in terms of knitting. And we are working on our Advent square, our Porter Wool Co. Bookish Advent. We are making granny squares. I have made 1.7 granny squares. We each are tasked with making 24. And of course, we're racing. Shaylee was winning me because I foolishly forgot my yarn at my parents' house the night before. So then she pulled ahead. But then they got sucked into a black hole of puzzles. I don't really like puzzles because I'm not very good at puzzles. Just not my skills yet. But they're very good at puzzles. My husband loves puzzles. So I think they got sucked into the vortex that is the puzzle. So I may have a chance to pull ahead. What else do I have to tell you? Oh, Gab's events. I have another topic to vent about. This one's been a long time coming. Fandoms. Okay. So, this is not a rant against fandoms. This is a very specific niche rant. That's what I was trying to say. Been doing Mean Girls too long. Everything's coming out gruel. Okay. Dyers who dye yarn and do fandoms, which most of the time I love. I don't love it if there is a book and a movie about this specific fandom. They only watch the movie. And then they make the fandom. They make their colorways based on the movie. Because here's why. This is where I'm going to get all drama teachery. about it. Here's why. In the movie, if you're making a bunch of colorways off of the movie and you're just basing it off the colors in the movie, you're just basically swiping another designer's idea. You're swiping the art director and the costume designer and the properties artisans. You're just taking their ideas and turning them from on the screen and basically just doing a color picker like you could do in Canva, right? Now I'm making a huge overgeneralization, right? That may not be what dyers do because I'm not a dyer. However, if there's a book, I want to see what the dyer is going to do based on the book, based on words and descriptions and what, at least when I read a book, the like pictures appear in my head like a movie. So I want to see what the dyer got out of the book. Like, yeah, I want to see that. Specifically, like when Little Women came out, right? The newer movie came out. And then a bunch of Little Women stuff popped up, which was great. But I'm like, it seemed like people, and some dyers readily admitted they'd only seen the movie. But if you watch the different Little Women movies, they interpret it very differently. And that's okay, because it's art, right? But I want to see the dyer's own interpretation of a book, not a copy of the movie, if that makes sense. Yes, the specific one that I struggle immensely with, but I don't usually talk about on the blog, is Harry Potter, because we do not support J.K. Rowling and her transphobic statements. I liked Harry Potter when I was growing up, but I will pick my trans friends and my trans students every single day over a book that I like. It is not worth it. But that's a different thing. But like, I used to watch movies, right? So I'd watch the movies, and then I still see colorways pop up that are clearly based on the movies. Like I saw a colorway that was based on Hermione's Yule Ball dress, but it was clearly Emma Watson's Yule Ball dress, not the one that's described in the book. So I'm like, did you read it? Did you read the book? Okay, so that's it. I want people to read the books. I love books. The library is like my favorite place to go. I saw like a meme on Instagram that like if you're feeling the need to like impulse buy things, go to the library, because you basically get that same dopamine hit of like getting all the things, right? Because you can check out, okay, there is a limit, but it's like 50 books. You can check out basically as many books as you want and still feel like you've collected a bunch of stuff, but then you can return it and you haven't totally thrashed your budget. Yes, I love the library. I love the programs they do at the library. It's awesome. We do the winter and summer reading programs. Library. All about the library. So that's my rant. Please read the books if you're going to die on things. Yeah. This is not shading a specific dyer. Want to put that out there. All right. Today's plan, because you probably won't see me again today. Today's plan, I have a couple doctor's appointments. I need new glasses. I'm gonna go running. And after the chiropractor, because I wrecked up my back, carrying Christmas presents. And then hopefully, I am going to get a lot of knitting done so my sister doesn't win me at things. Okay, off I go. Good morning. It is December 28th. It's about, I don't know, 7:15. I am out on a short morning run because if you can see, the ground's a little bit shiny. I think it's supposed to rain, or it already rained. So I'm not going very far because I do not wish to get caught out in the rain. But it is quite warm, so that's not too bad. I had plans this break for going on longer runs, but the weather makes me nervous, and because my hip and my back have been kind of painful, I don't want to be like 3 or 4 miles from the house and then my back get weird and then have to make it home 3 miles. So pardon me, I am staying closer to home. So today's check-in is an interesting one. I am cataloging my stash, which I've been avoiding, but I actually feel like really great about it. That now I know how much I have, and it's not as scary as I thought it was. It is a lot. It is an extreme amount of yarn. That's kind of stressing me out, but I actually feel really good about it too. So here's what I'm cataloging every single every single thing in my stash. It's mini skeins, partial mini skeins, partial 100-gram skeins, true 100-gram skeins, and yarn that's currently in my whips. So it is everything. Everything that I have, I even in like the tubs that I what's it called? The tubs in the top of the closet that I have no intention of working with the yarn for a very long time. So everything. The only thing that isn't cataloged is yarn that is earmarked for a giveaway, because I know like it's not mine to use, and the reason I haven't given away yet is it coincides with pattern releases. So, and the patterns haven't been released yet, thus have not given it away. So it was a really good time looking through my stash, because like almost every yarn gave me inspiration to do a project. So like, this is so fun. I think Shaylee and I are going to do some kind of stash reveal situation on how many, because we're competing with each other, of course, to see who can stash down the most. And we're gonna stash down in like relative percents, not like a true, like I use 10 skeins, you use 9, but like percentage of our stash, which actually I think gives me the advantage because I cataloged my mini skeins, right? So say I have 30 things in stash. I don't. I have way more than 30. If I use 10 mini skeins, that's a third of my stash, but 10 mini skeins is only like actual two actual 100-gram skeins, which is less than a tenth of her stash. So I think I might have the advantage on this one. My goal is to reduce my stash by a quarter this year, which doesn't seem like a lot, but I'm not done cataloging, and I'm gonna push over 100. I'm gonna have over 100 skeins of yarn. So I think that's fully possible because Shaylee and I are working on our wrapped video, and I'm looking at my tallies, and I know I have at least 50 socks maybe. So that's already, and if I did heels, toes, and cuffs, it's already 100 skeins, right? Because it's the main color and then the mini. So that's my goal. By 2025, oh, it's so close, is to reduce my stash by that amount. I think it's possible. I think I just need to commit to the goal and do it. I am in a struggle of the proverbial struggle between a whip down and a stash down, which theoretically they're both down, but when I cataloged my stash, I kept wanting to cast on more things so I could stash down, but I'm also supposed to be not using I'm supposed to try and whip down, and that's not going great because I've got like 14 whips right now. This happened to me last year. I started the end of last year with 14 whips. So that's not ideal. Okay, here's the rant for the day with these dogs. Okay, here's the caveat. I'm not really a big pet person. Like, it's fine if you're a pet person. I know lots of people love animals. I recognize that I am the anomaly, but I am not a big pet person. I'm not a cat person. I'm allergic, and dogs are just fine, but I could take them or leave them. So here's the rant. When people's animals come lunging at you, or especially when I'm running, come lunging at you and they like bang on the fence that you're running by, or they're on a leash and they're tugging at their owner, I guess, while you're running or around my small children. And the owner says, they're friendly. And I'm like, yeah, so am I, until someone comes at me. So saying that is, I don't love that. Not that I like, dogs on walks, perfectly fine, that are minding their own business, or dogs in the yard, perfectly fine, minding their own business. But it's absolutely terrifying. There's this German Shepherd that lives down the hill. It's absolutely terrifying when his paws are up on the fence and I'm running by and he's just barking. And I'm like, is this dog gonna jump? Like, am I gonna have to be ready to, like, I can't outrun a German Shepherd. Yeah, that's my, I don't know. It feels like if your dog has a high, I guess, prey drive, to keep them, like, secure, I guess. I don't know. My parents have a dog. Me and Noe acknowledge each other's existence. And, like, when I was really sick and when I wasn't doing well with my C-section, she would, like, sniff my face and be like, you okay? Okay, I'm gonna stand by you until you get better, right? Like, that's our, or like, I'll take her on a walk if I have to. Or like, I've watched Noe for mom and dad before, and I take care of her. She goes on her walks and I feed her and all those things. Or like, if she was gonna run out into the street, I'll grab her. Like, I'm not, but I'm also not like, Noe, come and snuggle on the couch with me. That's not Gabs. Or someone's like, oh, see that cute dog? I'm like, that's nice. I'm just not a dog person. I'm not a cat person. I'm gonna end up with a dog because my family really wants one, which is fine. And hopefully I'll be able to take the dog out on runs with me. But man, I do not love he's friendly when your dog is lunging at me. It happened when I was walking, or I was out on a walk with Lottie, and she was little. She was like 1 year old, 18 months. So she wasn't super steady on her feet. And we were walking in the neighborhood and somebody's dog slipped out the front door. So the dog slipped out the front door. The dog's barreling towards me and Lottie. This is a small, like, terrier-sized dog, but it's barking, right? At my 1 year old, who's absolutely terrified. And I'm scooping up my daughter and pretty mad because you've got your dog running at my kid. And then, you know, Mama Bear was not pleased with my neighbors. So I'm like, dude, she's one. Yeah. So now Chase gonna be like, ooh, Gabs was on one. I'm like, I'm always gonna be on one when I perceive a threat to my kids. Yes, that's always gonna be the case. That I'm always gonna be this intense. So I don't even know what the advice is, but I don't know. Gives me the ick when someone's like, oh, they're friendly. But I don't know that. Because I've never met your dog before. I will say, there is one dog who has a very, very dear place to my heart. It's my best friend's dog. He passed away, I don't know, 9 or 10 years ago, and I'm still not over it. It's Milo. Milo was an Australian Shepherd. He was a rescue. Hannah got him when maybe we were like 10 or 11, and he's literally the best dog in the whole world. Like, that's the only dog that I'd be like, Milo! She has other dogs now. They're all right. But Milo he's amazing. But Milo's been gone for a bit. Anyway, yeah, I can't remember what was the point of this, but here I am. Got a 9-minute check-in about my feelings about dogs that are out and about in the world and people tell them they're friendly, and my stash. So, Shaylee and I are going to do a wrapped video soon, so you'll get to see all of our makes. Probably not actually, we'll probably just talk about them because we got a lot. So I'll see you later.
Daniel, can you check Lenny?
Good morning. It is December 30th. I have not published videos in 6 days, but I've decided this is going to be now a compilation video in the week for the week between Christmas and New Year's, which some people I've heard referred to as the Twixmas. So that's what we're doing. So I am off on another morning run. I'm just going to run around the lake, which is about 2.5 miles. My back is finally feeling better, so that's excellent. I was doing most excellent on my stashing down. So I started this stash down journey with 430 balls of yarn, or skeins of yarn, or whatever. I stashed down till 424, and I was like, oh, I'm so good at this. Look at this. Well, then I exchanged Christmas presents with my in-laws. And now I'm back up to 424 because my brother-in-law got me these super cute little crochet amigurumi thingies. One's tulips and one's sunflower. So I think I'm going to make them and then put them in my classroom. So I have a little bit of cuteness in my classroom. But now I'm up to more skeins than I started with. But I guess official numbers don't start until January 1st. And I'm close. I am close to done with a couple other skeins, I think. So yes, because I've used 6 skeins since I started counting, which is not bad. But yeah, it's still a lot. It's a lot of yarn, and I'm really trying. I guess maybe my goal for the end of January is to be under 400. That might be that I'm gonna try and knock it down. And these include mini skeins, so if you're like 30 skeins is a lot of skeins. Yeah, they're not full skeins. They're mini skeins or partials or something like that. So that's where I am with all that. I am knitting and crafting, mostly crocheting actually, on a bunch of projects. So I'm working on the Granny Square projects with the Porter Wool Co. Advent. I swindled my mother-in-law into helping me with my portion. Me, Dad, and Shay, there were 24. We split it up equally. There's 8 for each of us. Well, my mother-in-law already did 1 ball for me, and she's on the 2nd ball for me. She's also a crocheter. So she says, you're cheating, and I'm like, just because you don't have a mother-in-law. So I'm working on that. I have, let's see, she has 1 ball that she's working on, and then I have 2 more that are intact. So I'm hoping that I can finish those today and then be done with that project. I'm working on joining Eleanor's white crochet blanket, which actually I made a realization about myself about crochet. I don't like crocheting with fingering weight yarn. It's just too small. So, which is weird because I love knitting with fingering weight and can't stand knitting with larger weights. So that's interesting. Because I'm cruising on Lenny's blanket. I'm like, yeah, this is fun. But those granny squares, I'm like, ugh. And my Battenberg, which is DK weight, is going pretty great. I'm zooming on that, which may be why my Vesuvius crochet along wasn't going well for me, because that was also fingering weight. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's the move, is that I just crochet with heavier weights and then it's fine. I am working on my mystery design. It's a sock. I'm on the foot of it. I had a temper tantrum with it a couple days ago, but now it's fine. We're back in business. I'm liking it. It's pretty cute. Yeah, so I have to knit both her socks with that, show the person I'm collabing on it with, and then chances are I'll probably have to knit probably 2 more versions of it, but I'm going to finish that one, kind of let it ride for a while, and then knit more later if I have to. This process is slow because I'm writing the pattern as I'm going, and because it's mystery, I have to like, each clue is separate, and I have to make sure like I put all the abbreviations in for each page, and I put all the special techniques in for each page. So it's a lot of formatting that I'm doing, instead of like, you can just put all the abbreviations at the top, and as you use an extra one, you just add it to the bank. But because it's clue style, I wanted to make sure the abbreviations were each page, especially if you were only opening one PDF. Because I recently did a mystery knit along where the designer just kept adding clues to the end, but that's kind of confusing, because you keep having to scroll every day instead of getting a new clue. I liked the way Stephen West and Stephanie Lotman do it, where it's like it's standalone clues each day, and at the end of the MCAL, you can get one big pattern if you're knitting it after the fact. So yes, that's where I am with that. And are those my 3 projects that I'm working on? Oh, and I'm working on a musselburgh. I haven't talked about it. So I am SM Karn, who I think her name is Sue, and Circle Stitches, whose name I forgot and I apologize, are hosting a monster musselburgh knit along, which is musselburgh pattern is a pattern by Isolde Teague, and it's like taken the knitting world by storm. Like, I think there's even like a New York Times article on it where it's like how this simple hat is, captured the heart and soul of the knitting community or whatever. It's a super easy pattern. It is a paid for pattern. There's lots of different gauges for it. I think it's at least from worsted all the way to fingering. There might be bulky included. A bunch of different sizes from like, if not newborn, definitely baby, up to like adult XL. It's a great pattern. Che bought it, so of course I have it too, because we share a rivalry. So there's lots of different ways to make musselburghs. The traditional way, I guess, is just one color skein, and then you knit the thing. But lots of variations. Nitty Natty talked about some variations that she did with some ribbing, and then, okay, I'm gonna mispronounce this. Hygge Canyon, it's spelled Hygge. I don't know how to say that word very good, very well. Is also did one with like sock sets. So your brim, when you you have a brim on the hat, it's a contrasting color. So your brim can be like pink, and then your hat part can be like speckled or whatever. So I know it's a long explanation for a knit along. The monster knit along is like Frankenstein's monster, where you just put the pieces together. So it's scrappy. It's basically a scrappy musselburgh. And I'm doing like a planned scrappy musselburgh. I'm not doing true scraps where I just like whack them in, because I'm realizing I think that aesthetic for me is very cute. I like when the stripes are the same size. So what I'm doing is I'm holding a main color through it. So I'm doing 5 rows of main color and then 5 rows of whatever my scrap is. And sometimes my scrap ends up short, so I end up with like 3 rows of scrap. But it's giving the appearance of like a main color and then self-striping on it. But it's not self-striping because it's scraps. So I am doing that with Rebel Woolworks Dreams colorway, which Chaley and Daniel and I and Dad got maybe 2 years ago. She's no longer dyeing yarn. That was a whole thing. And my scraps from the Porter Wool Co. So I've done 4. I put 4 of those scraps in. I think I need 16. I'm calling them contrast colors. 16 contrast stripes, and I have 4. So I'm clipping along on it pretty fast. I think that's what I'm going to do with most of my scrap yarn this year, instead of putting it in Chaley's Magic Knot Ball, because we're not really doing that anymore. I'm going to do my yarn for the musselburghs, and then kind of either donate the hats when I'm done to Gary Knits' hopefully just Gary Knits the Rainbow again. If not, I will just donate them to Knit the Rainbow. Yeah, that's kind of my plan. It's mostly inspired by Anna of Zebra Yarns, who knit like 50 muscle burrows in a year or something, some large number like that. She's knit like 2 already since the challenge started. So I'm thinking it's great. There's a bunch of fun whip down, stash down, scrappy yarn challenges for the new year. I love this time where everyone's got all these different things and challenges and like goals they want to meet. I love that. I know it gives some people anxiety and it's stressful for some people, but I love goals. I'm very not necessarily, I guess, goal driven, but really it's like, tell me where you want me to be and then I'll get there. I don't do super well with open, like the open-ended, well, where do you want it, like where, it's different for every person. It's you know, I don't do well with that. I know for some people the rigidity of goals is very challenging for them, but the fluidity is very challenging for me. I need like clear set goals. My induction coordinator for teaching was very freeform, and I was like, so what do you want me to teach? What skills do you need me to demonstrate? And she's like, oh well, it's really up to the individual teacher. I'm like, no, tell me what you want me to do and I will do the thing. Yeah, which I recognize is a very closed mindset, but it works for me. My husband says, he's like, nobody is like you. Maybe Chaley, but nobody else is like you. When it's like, just tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it. Don't just go. So I like the goals. I like this goal time and seeing what everyone else is doing. I joined like 50,000 challenges and that's great. So here I am. I've walked very far. It is time to run. Talk to you later.